Yo, Deuterino.
Yo, Devo.
What's going on?
It's all good, man. Just
It's
just
all
living
good.
living the
It's
lives.
all good. Living the life, living the dream, living the dream,
Living the dream.
living the dream.
According to last week, I'm not sure if I am living the dream.
I mean, I'm definitely. I have to check myself before I wreck
I
myself.
do have this is the first residence I've had in my adult life with a white picket fence.
Oh wow!
I don't know if that's still the American dream.
You're missing 2.5 kids. As far as
Gladly,
yeah,
gladly
yeah.
missing.
But, other than that, I mean, white picket fence, 2.5 kids.
I got a
Income,
dog.
income,
I got an income.
Okay.
I got a dog.
dog.
Got a partner.
I was gonna say in a relationship. Just want to use the per
Yeah.
opera terms
Yeah.
today. Yeah.
Shipped up.
it feels like you're living the dream, bro. And I tell you, what, just so we can leave that one in the past, I'm gonna believe that you're living the best dream. How's that?
Right.
Just for you.
Fair enough.
I'll
I'll tell you what.
What?
If I wasn't living the dream, you can't tell me nothing.
Ding. There it is. Dude, let's see. We're back here. Something I learned today that I was hoping that you would help me out with. Is there a game season that is starting right around now on Sundays with a bunch of men colliding into each other with a big H at the end of the court? Is that game revitalizing itself right now?
Rugby has been going on.
Okay. Oh, that's good. Okay, but do we have an American version of soccer, something like that?
Yeah. Football did start this week.
There we go. Knew that was the guy.
We
Listen.
don't acknowledge that in this household because the Rams lost.
Oh, sorry about that.
But yeah, football did start. I did make some. I did get a Vegas tax rebate on one of my bets.
Oh wow, that's nice of them. Take care of you there.
Yeah,
the reason I was confused, Duder, I was very confused because I saw one of these games last year, and I believe you have to help me, with the people and the games and the teams with what was going on. There was a guy on the news today, and I swore that this dude at the end of the season last year was like, I think I'm done. I think it's over. I think the career. My wife's told me I got to quit. And I think I'm out. Was that guy? Did I see that guy in uniform, fully dressed up, playing a game? Was I confused in this matter? Because if you were a person like me, you went out last year and you were like, "Yo, gone as an error." You know what I mean? My man is 2 fingers waving at the helicopter. He's out. You know what I mean? But all of a sudden, I seen him in the news. He's dressed up. He's talking about practice. What did I miss, Duder? Where did? Am I right or am I wrong? What happened here?
Well, here's the thing. There's a lot of speculation as to why Tom Brady did not stay retired after announcing his retirement.
Oh wait, could you say that one more time? I want to make sure that I wasn't crazy. He announced his retirement.
Well, here's what happened.
Okay.
The news media scooped him and they said Tom Brady's retiring. And Tom Brady came out and said, "No, I'm not retiring." And then, like a couple days later, came out and said, "Yeah, I'm retiring. I just wanted to tell it on my own time."
Okay.
Because y'all had to get out there and jump the gun.
Okay.
So I am retiring.
Okay. So that's where I left. That's where I left off. That's where I was. Okay. Like most of people who don't watch football as a normal thing, I was left right there, and I was like, man, and I was starting to find some Tom Brady memorabilia. You know what I mean? I want to make sure that because Brady.
Got to remember this.
You got to remember this, man. I may not watch football, but I know who Tom Brady is, right? And if this guy's done, I want to even see who's next. You know what I mean? What's going? But anyways, that's where I left it, dude. What happened?
So nobody knows, when or why he changed his mind to come back.
Okay.
But a lot of the speculation is that Tom Brady is Tom Brady and he's used to winning and he's used to having his way.
Mm-hmm.
And he was pissed that other people came out and said Tom Brady's going to retire before he came out and said he was going to retire. So a lot of the speculation is he's going to play one more year and then retire and do it on his own terms, quote unquote.
How about the wife? Was the wife?
That's the more interesting thing.
Okay, because
that's what we were talking about in my household last night when we were watching Tom Brady beat the Dallas Cowboys. His wife Giselle Bundchen, best, most popular, most money making.
Did we say this guy's living the dream? By the way,
model. He checked the box.
Okay, all
living
right.
the dream.
Just making sure.
His supermodel wife, who makes more money than him and any other supermodel, she doesn't want him to play football anymore. She wants him to be home with family. Bro, you're 45 years old. You're Tom Brady.
Tom Brady.
You've done everything.
Did it.
You've won everything there is to win.
Come lay with me, son. It's fine.
Come hang out with the family. Be family man.
Okay.
And Tom Brady's like, I tried that for about a month. It ain't football.
Summer was rough.
So, nobody's giving me a trophy for being the best husband, so I'm gonna go out here and try to win that trophy. But there's some beef between Brady and Giselle, and she didn't go to the game. And there's talk that maybe they're gonna separate. Maybe there's a fracture in the relationship. And I'm over here saying, hey, it's Tom Brady. You don't leave Tom. If Tom Brady wants to play one more year of football,
I mean, let me just ask you that question. Does
my partner's over here saying you don't leave a supermodel?
Yeah,
Giselle,
I was thinking the same.
More money than you.
Yeah,
she's been home with the family. You've been playing football.
Dude, let me. I don't know. I don't normally have you do this, but I'm gonna do it just for this one right here, Duder. We're gonna make you choose sides right here. I know this is the real tough one for you. Oh, I know. We're gonna bring this into you, Duder. All right, it is choose sides times, Duder. Do you pick the wife's rhetoric? I'm gonna call it that. Okay, man make a decision when man makes a decision. Do you pick the wife's rhetoric? Or do you pick, I'm going to do what I want. I'm going to do what I want. I don't want the news telling me what to do. I want her telling me what to do. My name's Tom Brady. I do what I want. Whose side? Duder, I need you to pick a side. I need you to pick up a picket sign. I need you to stand behind one of these two ideas. Do you stand behind your family and your wife who's telling you what to do? Or do you stand behind, evidently, your own mind and your own brain and your own ideas? And the hell with what the media says, and you just Tom Brady. Duder, what do you take from that?
I'm going to answer that with a Kanye lyric.
Okay. Ooh, very nice.
I feel the pressure, under more scrutiny, and what I do, act more stupidly. I would play football.
Yeah.
Because football's not going to last forever. Tom Brady has played longer than anyone, so maybe it will last forever for him. We don't know. Dude is 55 years old. But for everyone who's not named Tom Brady, football has an expiration date, and it's gonna be soon. And at that point, he can then go be the family man. But how do you tell your partner, stop chasing your dream?
Yeah, that's a rough one. Now
the reason sorry to cut you off. The reason I use the Kanye quote is because that's dumb as shit. You've played enough football. Go home, be a family man, bro.
So you're behind his decision making process, but you maybe don't agree with the decision that he's made. Is that? That's a fucked up sign.
Decision that I would make.
It's just a fucked up sign, bro. You got the sign.
It's the decision that I would make.
Yeah,
but I'm willing to admit that it's the wrong one.
I mean, you're holding the picket sign, and everybody's like, "Really?" Yeah. You're like, "No," but I mean.
I need some cardio. I can't really walk around.
Anyways. All right, man. Hey, listen. Can we slide over to a cup of soup? Is that okay? Can we get into there?
I want to do one thing before.
Sorry. That was my bad. Sorry. Okay, no, that was just regular.
One thing before we get to our cup of soup.
Okay.
Since we're on football.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the toilet bowl, which is tell you and our listeners which football team is not going to win the Super Bowl this year.
I was thinking about the toilet bowl this year myself. I was actually had thought about it earlier today when I was thinking about Tom Brady, and I was wondering, Duder, I kind of want to do a toilet bowl with you. A Debo's
That'll
pure
be a fun game.
A Debo's pure random, if you will.
Yeah. It'll be a good test. It'll be mine with putting effort into it.
Yes.
And yours with just picking teams based on color or their mascot.
I mean,
however you do.
I don't want to give up my secrets. Okay. I don't want to give up my pray tell or what I know. But I mean, I'll do my best. So the toilet.
So do you want to save that or
No. Let's. You know what? If you want to start, or then I tell you what. Let's go. Let's go right into the toilet bowl here real quick. I think this should be right. I think this the B one. B. No more B anymore. B's out. B's no more. B's okay. So B's gone. All right. So toilet bowl. Let's a little bit of retro music for some toilet bowl. Duder, who do you got?
The toilet bowl for week 1 is your Jets, Jets, the New York Jets of the National Football League are not going to win the Super Bowl this year, next year, or any other year in our lifetime.
So I feel I'm going to write the Jets down because I feel like it's a shitty poll to do in the beginning, and I don't even know football. And I say that because I feel like you don't think that the Jets have ever won ever.
They won Super Bowl 3. I think Super Bowl 55 was last year.
Oh
if
God!
I'm getting my numbers correct.
Oh God, the Jets, huh? All right. I gotta keep a solid list on this. I'm gonna go to the back here. All right, so Dude's going with the Jets. Week 1. I feel like it's a whatever move. I'm gonna go ahead and piss people off right from the start. I'm gonna just go ahead and just knock out somebody that, I got no reasons. I don't want to say that there's a reason why I'm not going to. I don't want people to take personal, but I don't think they're going to win, Duder. I'm going to go ahead and put my projection in now, and you go ahead and offend or defend this idea.
Yeah.
The Cowboys. I'm thinking for some reason
that's the other team I was considering.
Oh no!
I got no beef with that.
Oh, Cowboys.
The only reason I did not is because we happen to have a few Cowboys fans who listen and support the show.
Yeah, we want to help them out. I get that.
And I didn't want to ruin their football season this early. I was going to save the Cowboys till about week 4.
I'm from SoCal, and I feel like a lot of teams are represented here because there's a lot of people from a lot of different areas, and we tend to have we don't really have a team anymore, so we tend to bandwagon a little bit, or daddy's favorite team, or Chargers, or maybe Oakland. Not even Oakland anymore. Where are they at now?
Well, I think it's two. Now they're Vegas.
Yeah, there you go.
Here.
Yeah,
I think it's twofold. I think it's one. A lot of people move to California from other places in the country, and so you bring your teams with you.
Right.
I'm out in a different state, still rooting for the Angels and Lakers and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, when we were growing up, our teams were moving all the time. The Raiders went to Oakland, then back to LA, then Oakland, now Vegas. The Rams went to St. Louis, and then LA.
Moneyball, right? Yeah.
So, everyone's chasing the money. So when we were growing up, even if you rooted for the hometown team,
right,
there was no guarantee they were going to be there.
Yeah.
So a lot of our friends and people of our age just rooted for, who was on TV a lot or who was the better team. And the Cowboys, when we were growing up, the Cowboys were great.
Yeah. No.
And so a lot of people are Cowboys fans. You got a lot of Packers fans. That sort of thing from our generation.
I saw a green jersey yesterday, and obviously I'm assuming the Eagles. I don't even know. With Smith on the back. Is that a green? Green. Okay.
Green with Smith. I got nothing for you.
It wasn't the Cowboys, so I was like, then
Cowboys aren't green, but it could be the Packers, could be the Eagles, could be the Jets.
I think it was the Eagles.
Yeah. I still got no Smith.
No Smith. Okay. Well, number 9. No, number 9 Smith. No, that's what I thought. All right.
No, 9 Smith. Nothing. No 9 Smith.
I saw Smith, and it wasn't the Cowboy Smith, and I was like, well,
then you're like,
so then that's it. So we're done. That's Cowboys are out. That was my simple go-to. All right. Well,
maybe it was Will Smith, who's from Philly, so it would make sense that it was an Eagles jersey.
It could have been. Dude, can I go to a little cup of soup?
Let's do it. I'm parched. That'd be.
As we say, they used to say in a lot of different places, God save the Queen. Right now,
that didn't work.
God save the King is the new message on the board as we let go of 96 years of life and 70 some odd years of reign of a monarchy. Across the pond, they say. The old ruler. You may have heard of these people. The Queen, God bless her, has gone on, and as a news junkie, Okay, I mean, I just like I get up in the morning, news and what do we? I got nothing to news. I'm a news junkie.
Right.
This is where I want to contrast news and how it's been doing. Have you heard anything about yesterday?
Is yesterday when she died?
No.
Oh, you're talking about 9/11.
I'm talking about 9/11.
Yeah.
It was yesterday.
Yeah.
Did you see?
So actually, as a matter of fact, at the Jets game, the crowd sang the national anthem, and a lot of people were saying, in honor of 9/11, and a lot of people were saying that's one of the best versions of the national anthem ever.
Oh,
I strongly disagree.
Okay. You like
none
Roseanne?
of these people are professional singers,
Okay.
or certainly if they were, they're drowned out by 50,000 non-professional singers. So I don't think the crowd singing the national anthem belongs among the greatest just because it's 21 years after 9/11.
Yeah.
But that was almost the extent of what I heard about 9/11. There wasn't a whole lot.
Is football our leader in patriotic things?
Yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I mean, did they run the flag? They hold the flag. It's all about the flag. You know what I mean?
You can't kneel.
You
can't.
can't-
I mean, a lot of trouble if you don't.
Yeah. So I just
participate in patriotic fascism.
Sneak that one in there. So I was just wanted to make sure I was part of the country if I didn't go there. But as far as the rest of the country was concerned, news outlets did not really take hold of what is normally, what, guys, September 11th is coming up. Might as well run them specials. It was all God Save the Queen. It was all Elizabeth.
Well, so that's what I wanted to ask you, because I have my cynical point of view as to why. But I wasn't watching the news. I was watching sports. So it was wall-to-wall Queen coverage?
Wall-to-wall, 3 tabs deep, all Queen. I think there was a flash flood, and then Queen, 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 and then there was a fire, and then Queen, 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 Queen. And it was 70-some-odd years is a big deal. You can't really just sweep that under the rug over the weekend when there's low news. There's just a war going on in Ukraine and just maybe some, other things in life. But you got to sweep. You got to, hey, man, you got to give some room for the Queen. We've been covering her whole life. We've got some back footage. Let's go ahead and make sure. But I mean, not to talk bad about the Queen. She did great. And
I will talk bad about her.
Were you ready to go? You ready to put the monarchy on blast already? That's okay. Been ready. All right. Well, I only bring up the Queen and her reign to talk about monarchies in general. I don't know if they're a working monarchy. I found out after watching all the news over the weekend that the Queen was actually paying taxes, which was kind of a neat thing. I was like, hey, good for you. Right, yeah.
Right.
I think it was somewhere in the 70s or the 50s. She was like, you mean all we did was take? She was like, all right.
Yeah.
She's like, all right, we'll go ahead and pay taxes on everything we own. But you own the I know, we're going to pay taxes on that shit too, okay? So, I mean, it's hard to give everybody dues at times, but I'm gonna give her that one. She went ahead and turned the faucet the other way around. Okay.
I mean, who is checking to make sure their tax returns have been filled out correctly?
We don't check.
Just look, this is how much we're gonna give you. Take it or leave it. Or is someone going through and crossing the T's and dotting in? Oh, did you claim this? Excuse me, Queen. This here you can't claim. This was Charles.
You can't claim a country. You sure it's not tax write-offable? You can't just write that off? No, not the whole country, ma'am. You can't. Oh, that's hilarious. Who's checking? Who's the IRS on the Queen's taxes? That's funny.
I mean, you tell me they haven't been doing it, and they're just like, we're
doing it. Yeah, we'll pay.
We got it. Trust me.
Yeah.
Take my word for it.
2 years later, they're like, hold up, man. Hold on. Wait. Who? What?
Why are our roads still falling apart?
Oh, so funny.
You're paying all these taxes.
Well, so there was that about the Queen, and started governing a country at a very young age. 19, 20, 21, 25, somewhere in the younger ages. Her daddy was
she started in governing the country in 1921. I don't know.
It
sounds like a long time.
Her age. She was
20, 25. Okay.
Yeah, she's 70 years is how long she's been on the throne. She's 96. You got to do the math. What's that? 25 somewhere
It's
in there.
21.
Okay, there you go. 21.
26.
There you Okay.
It's early. It's early on Monday. I don't know.
Debo accepts all answers. Okay?
Somebody check
It's
this.
fine.
She was in her 20s.
She was young. She was young.
Yeah.
Okay, there's the general answer. And to be on the throne for that long is just, it's just a long reign. It's just a long time to be doing anything. So, but in that time, a couple of wars went under her, right? Relations with the U.S. aren't horrible, but we got to see a living dysfunctional royal family over the past few years. They one dude married a black chick. That wasn't cool. Like, what are you doing? That kind of
they got kicked out.
Yeah, it's caused some controversy.
We're not gonna let her be heir to the throne. Can't do that.
So I mean, but you've seen the Modern Family, the one with Love and Marriage guy, Al Bundy's, okay,
yeah.
And then you got the Modern Royal Family. In all honesty, I mean, you got I'm going to pay taxes, and we're gonna family drama is going to be everywhere. But then you got the Queen.
Marry whoever you want, as long as they're not black.
You got the Queen. You can't really talk shit on her. Like I like to talk shit.
I can talk a lot of shit.
I mean, hey man, I mean, she just died, so I'm gonna take it easy. But I mean, she held a solid poker face for like 70 years. They're like, Queen, what do you think? She was like, mm-hmm. They're like, Queen, what should we do about that? Y'all know what to do. I mean, she didn't. Her opinion was never an opinion. Me and you sit here all day. We fucking float opinions between Brady and Jazz or whatever. We float opinions all day. She was just like, well, the people should do what the people should do. They were like, God bless you. It was Queensy, and so I don't know. Like, I give her that. I mean, today we're over opinionated. We're over the top. In her reign, she kept it quiet. Just fuck them motherfuckers. Hi, everybody. How you doing? She kept it monotone. Again, I'm only saying, all I can do is take the good from it.
Here's what I can say about the Queen that's not going to start a diss track. I don't think there's a president we've had in the United States during the time of her reign that if we let them be president for 75 years, everyone would have been okay with that. Now, I don't know if everyone was okay with her being queen for that long, but my guess is her approval ratings were higher than any person we would have let reign for 75 years.
They didn't string her up and throw her off the bridge. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I mean, it's a monarchy, and I hate to put it in that context, but every other monarchy.
That's how you end it.
That's how you. That's it. Every other monarchy.
There's no vote.
No. So you know what? You're out. I was trying to explain to my kids, like, well, how does the monarchy work? Well, if you really screw off, piss off the people, they're just gonna kill you. It's a simple way of a monarchy. Well, next, and then what? Okay, but let's go worse. I mean, they take out the family because, like, when a monarchy has to go,
you got to take out the lineage. Because if you just take out the top, the next one goes in.
Yeah. So the question is being and has been and should be forever until it's over. When should the monarchy end? When should
100 years ago.
When should the original autocracy be stopped calling an autocracy and just be called a monarchy? And we should just cut it. You know what I mean? But
the 21st century.
Yeah, I guess it's time for that. Well, Duder, I'm gonna take that as the soup right there. Just call that the soup on over. You got any more for the soup? Yeah, that's right. You got some more for the soup?
The last point is
right.
In the very minimal 9/11 coverage I saw,
they
referenced that the Queen had the Queen's Guard play the national anthem, the American national anthem, on might have been 9/12, but I think it was still 9/11, and it's the only time they've ever done it.
Wow.
It played in other countries.
Right. Yeah. No, it's a big deal. That's really that's neat. And again, our relations with those across the pond was worse before. How's that?
Yeah, I'd say it was probably worse at around 1812, and ever since then, it's been steadily improving.
Yeah, we've been getting into it. All right, brother.
Between 1776 and 1812 wasn't so good.
There was a problem. There was some issues. Yeah. We had to talk about some things. Duder, I'm going to go ahead and run track on this one, and let's see if we can get into this. Oh, that's a little loud. That's a bunch. We're going to talk about the generation gap. Can we get into there? Can we get into the gappings of the generations?
Yeah, I think the monarchy and autocracy is a good place to start.
Into the
Gap in generations.
I mean, I know the older generation knows about monarchies, but does the younger generation know about our younger generation? Do they understand monarchies and like kings? You know what I mean? Like we play princesses and king, but we don't know what we're doing. And do they know what we're talking about? Sometimes I feel like it gets lost. It's not like we were born into, a king here, but I felt like it made some sense when I was a kid. But today it's just, I don't know. It feels like a confusing lesson to explain to a young mind. And you say, this is autocracy, and this is democracy, and this is a kingship, and they're like, well, then why is it all still going on? And you're like, well,
if one of them is a good way to do it, why is it do it the other way?
Yeah, where it becomes more of a confusing conversation. But anyway, I will talk a little bit about the generation gap and the autocracy of something. This is in the current little bit of soup with the generation gap. Check this out. Taiwan. It's got a target on its back. I don't know if you know that or not, but it definitely it's written in Chinese. It's a target right on their back, and China is like, I don't know what to tell you, man. This is happening, and someone's just going to have to deal with it, all right? Because we're planning for it, and that's what's real. So I was watching a little bit on Taiwan yesterday and found out a little bit of disturbing news. Disturbing on a couple of different levels. This is definitely to tie into the generation. So first of all, they have an automatic draft. Everybody must serve. But here's the kicker. It's only 6 months.
That ain't bad.
Okay. All right.
If you make it out.
Well, okay, 6 months. Okay, 6 months ago, someone just got out, dude. I mean, it's only 6 months, right? You turn the legal age, you do your 6 months, and then that's it, right? I'm not talking bad on Taiwan at all right? So I'm going to say that first. But it kind of breeds bitches, okay? Because you do your service for 6 months, and then you're like, that problem's not mine anymore. Like, I'm trained for 6 months, and now you go YOLO, right? Because no war's coming to you anymore. But that also, the way that they were presented this yesterday, that kind of leaves a soft generation to handle a target on their back. I mean, it's not like China don't got guns and don't got ships and isn't said, Taiwan, we coming. Like, they've said that. But in the Taiwan people, they do 6 months of service, then they go back to partying. And amongst their younger generations, this is where we're talking about the generation, maybe they'll invade, maybe they won't. It doesn't seem there's not a lot of stress there. Maybe the older generation, those guys are going back up, picking up guns and learning how to fire right now because they saw what happened in Ukraine. And so, the older generation's going like, damn, this stuff could really happen. So they're going back up, picking up guns, but they're not speaking well about their younger generation because they're like, well, they aren't taking it seriously. And the younger generation don't believe that this can really happen in their lifetime. And I think you can understand those kind of ideas when in your lifetime, maybe stuff hasn't really hit the fan, so you don't really believe it can. Dude, your thoughts on that generational mindset of war, maybe in this other country, where you've got a real threat and you've got maybe a soft military. And I mean, I hate to call a military soft, man. That's not really it's not really I say that looking down. You know what I mean? I don't really say that with a proud chest. But it's a soft military. They're calling it soft. I'm calling it soft, and they know who Big Brother is. I mean, it's not like we haven't said some really strong words. I'm gonna use the government's words. Ironclad. Those are the government's words. We sent over a diplomat to be like, yeah, we recognize them, and so yes, turmoil. But we're talking about the generations. Would you agree or disagree on a generation that is doing 6 months hard time, is producing maybe an inefficient military service to combat what is, I mean, an honest wanted poster and threat?
We sent over a diplomat, and their military just wanted to do TikTok challenges with him.
Sure.
Dancing and
we sent over. I think we sent over Pelosi. Pelosi went over there, and same time, real talk. Same time, she goes over there. China was like, "I bet we can launch every missile as a test today. I bet we can.
Today's the day.
Today's the day. And so go ahead.
I mean, you look at our military enrollment, our style in the United States. We don't have a draft anymore. We do offer a lot of incentives for people to join the military. You get the GI Bill and some education and some insurance benefits, home ownership, or being able to buy a home.
Supposedly we take care
for a loan.
Supposedly we take care of you right up until you get out.
Right up until you get out. It's great. But they're doing. You got to do 4 years. I mean, I think rare cases maybe you could do 2.
Right.
If you're not fully in, doing the weekend stuff or whatever. But excuse me. But that's 4 years. But it's optional. So imagine if every American or every American male, because you can't send women off to battle for some stupid reason. But imagine if every American male had to do 6 months. Would you think that would make our generation softer? I don't.
I agree with the size of America, the size of our military might, and our 6 months training wouldn't make us bitches. I agree to that idea. But if that's all we had, it does
put you in position to have a very inexperienced military.
Very inexperienced.
Because everyone's aging out. So nobody in there has more than 6 months experience.
That's it.
I imagine there's commanders or whatever who are
somebody's a lifer.
Dudes,
somebody does
but
it.
They're not the ones going to the front lines.
You just don't have what's called. I mean, listen, man, I've done something for 6 months.
I've done a lot of things for 6 months. Rarely am I good at any of them.
But only the things that I've tried for 4 years am I relatively good at. And I mean, I'm just looking at a big threat, and we're Americans. Everything's a threat. Okay, I mean, what's that? Dirt? That's a threat. Everything's a threat here in America. But
shoot it.
Put red, white, blue in a call today. But they just don't. It just seems to me like they're counting more on Big Brother than they're counting on their.
They could keep their people in the military for 10 years, just based on the population and the size of the country.
Yeah,
they're not going to beat China. I say this as Russia's coming out and saying Ukraine's a problem.
Right, it's true.
But I don't think if they had career military personnel, I still don't think they'll be better off. But I don't think they're winning a 1v1 war with China for their independence.
Well, listen, we called a military a bitch, which is not top. I'll probably have to apologize.
You called.
Thank you very much. Appreciate that.
I'm
not. We're talking about the generations, and I wanted to, we've been talking a little bit about sex in the generations too, and how that's kind of different in the generation gap. You like the segue? War to sex?
That was great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. We've pulled up some statistics, right? And I think I've thumbed through some.
Either way.
Old people fucking. Duder is, because that's what the statistic kind of proved and said and kind of leaned into towards. And then it was like young people fucking, and then it was like, well, who's fucking more? Like it was like, it was what it was saying. Duder, did you come to a conclusion between the gaps in the generations in who's doing it more?
That's your segue is funny because I can't remember where I saw this quote, but I saw a quote that war breeds old people because it kills off the younger generation.
That's funny. That's not sad. That's sad.
So we went from war
Full
to
circle.
old people fucking.
There you go.
Is actually kind of appropriate.
That is. There you go.
Well, so during pre-show, you and G were suggesting that older generations are having more sex now than perhaps when we were growing up, or even previous generations.
Feels like
and I
the older
can't.
generation figured out sex late. That's late bloomers. You know what I mean? The baby
Yeah,
boomers were late bloomers. Is the way I'm kind of putting it. Yeah.
yeah, and I can't. I have no statistical backing to prove that the greatest generation or the silent generation or the baby boomers that old people were fucking during those times. But I gotta believe human nature leads me to believe that they were still fucking as old people in those generations. But now there's more maybe freedom to talk about it, to express the nature of your sex life. And so we are more aware of old people fucking now. But I don't think they're necessarily fucking in greater
And
numbers.
I balked on that until we pulled up the STD records.
Yes.
And the STD, and again, I was assuming
Unprecedented.
unprecedented, the unprecedented record, and they show it was an STD survey, right? And they
Yeah.
show basically everybody's getting way more STDs than the '90s when STDs was the only reason why you didn't have sex.
Well, and that's largely the point is they point to HIV
Mhm.
and they say, look, HIV scared a generation off of sex. People thought you were going to die. Right. Exactly.
Current president accounted for.
No, I will tell you that I might be one of the bravest people from our generation. Oh, yeah, let's find out.
We're
Let's
going
find out
in. We're going in.
if I'm going to die, I'm going to die happy. I'm going to tell you that much. But that being said, I have had my experience with going to the doctor and saying, hey, man, something ain't right. Need some of those antibiotics.
Yeah.
So, again, maybe I don't.
Is this going to stay forever, or is this going to clear up?
Is this something you can fix, or where are we at?
The interesting to that, Duder, is in the actuality, only one of us has
kids. Oh.
had serious sexual injury. So
Right.
I think that is an interesting contrast to there. So yeah, okay.
If you can cure it, I've tried it. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, well,
and that brings me to my other Kanye quote.
Okay.
And you can live through anything if magic made it.
Ooh, look at that. You can sure do that.
But to your point about the generations and the sex, and we looked at the studies, and it says young people, for the purposes of this conversation, we're going to call young people millennials.
Okay.
Because they didn't have a lot of data on Gen Z yet, except for the Gen Z seems to be waiting longer to have sex at a later age. But as far as it relates to STDs, millennials who are 1981 to 1995 for the purposes of this study, millennials are getting STDs at unprecedented rates, but they're not having sex at higher levels.
Right. So the
confusion was, if they're not having more sex, why are they getting more STDs?
Yeah.
Then they looked at another study of baby boomers. Baby boomers, for the purposes of this study, are 1946 to 1964. Baby boomers are also getting STDs at unprecedented rates. And whether or not they're having more sex is unclear, because mostly baby boomers don't talk about it, or they didn't in previous iterations.
Just keep things quiet.
And then Gen X is having less sex. Gen X is 65 to 80. Gen X is having less sex than either baby boomers or millennials. Gen X are all depressed and shit. But they're still getting STDs and having to go to the doctor. And the conclusion for all these were multiple studies that I looked at.
Yeah.
The conclusion for all these studies were, the only thing they could come up with is that a lot of these people say that they weren't educated properly. And they know about the viral stuff, the Magic Johnsons.
Yeah.
But they don't know about the bacterial stuff. And I push back on that and say, we were taught, we had sex ed, I think, as early as junior high.
Is that when you I went I think a 5th or 6th grade class of
Fifth
the
is shit
video.
you talk about, but
the
I don't
video.
know that you really got into STDs at that point.
No,
I
no,
think
no,
it's
no,
more
no.
birds and bees.
Yeah, birds and bees.
And this is where babies come from.
Yeah, that one.
But then I think in 7th or 8th grade,
Uh-huh.
it was a little bit more wear a condom, and these are the reasons you need to wear a condom.
Right.
And okay, your 15-minute speech is over.
Because the devil. Oh no, you didn't get the devil.
Yeah, you will go to hell if you don't wear a condom.
Yeah, and if you do wear a condom, you're gonna go to hell too because you're having sex. Unmarried.
But we also had you and I in our generation. We also had popular culture talking about it, which is where I push back that these people weren't educated. I mean,
because of Magic.
Snoop is talking about it.
Yeah.
Magic got HIV/AIDS. Dr. Dre has song lyrics about it. Ice Cube has a whole song about it.
I mean, I get
all
it.
of these are early 90s at the prime of our generation, starting to get into the age where they would start to be exploring these things. And literally everyone, music, sports, popular culture, everyone is talking about wrap it up, beat.
But what if you didn't listen to hip hop in the 90s? What if you stayed mainstream and were like, it's the end of the world as we know it, and you were just listening to that? You would have never.
I better go fucking if it's the end of the world.
I mean, but you're listening to Rem or Aria. You're listening to U2. You're listening to Nirvana. Okay, it's regular music in the 90s. Pop, because hip hop is backdoor. Like hip hop is. It's not mainstream yet in the 90s.
Right.
So, I mean, if you're not listening to hip hop, you didn't get the message.
I mean, I guess not, but are they not teaching it in schools as well?
My only idea to this, because I felt like I was.
Did you know you could get STDs when you were high school age?
I knew that I could die if I had sex. I mean, it wasn't like STDs.
That was the extent of your knowledge?
Yeah, it was like if you have sex, you're gonna die because of AIDS. It was like a big message, right? It was all together.
I mean, it was the 80s and most of the 90s were your dick might explode.
Yeah.
The moment you put it in.
So so then no one really wanted to have the conversation really about like bacteria, about but when you're done, wash it up.
Right.
Like you could do all that stuff, but you got to clean everything off afterwards because bacteria sits. And that's where STDs, that's where your UTIs come from, and things like, you got to clear the track, and no one talks about, I feel, the insides and outsides of it. They just say, do it. Hopefully it's not in the back of the seat of the car. And, you got, you cleaned it up. You didn't. Okay, well, move on to next.
All right. Well, here's the other, I didn't see this on every study, but a couple of them. The other hypothesis is that beginning with our generation, and it started with prior generations, but it really became, I guess, mainstream, for lack of a better term, for our generation was the pill, the birth control pill.
Yeah.
And people were starting to take that as young as high school. Certainly, I had girlfriends in high school who were on the pill. But because that prevented pregnancy,
right, then
condom usage went down because people were more worried about pregnancy than STDs.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then that's how they started to get transmitted, and that's how people started to get them at higher rates. But none of that explains why old folks are getting STDs now.
Well, to your point, it's saying that condoms, right? I mean, I guess we should probably look at the condom sales of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and 2000s, and see what the changes from the pill being introduced as well. Because you're right to say that the pill took the problem to a different situation, right? You just well, this is a done deal. Yeah, but you could still get this, and so then all of a sudden you're taking 2 birth controls, and so I think that I think you could be onto something there, Duder. I want to slide over into the generational gap and ask a little bit about Google versus fact versus make shit up. We were raised in a time where someone could have told us there's a man on the moon, and we would have been like, great, that's absolutely fact. It's absolutely true. And there's nowhere we could have. Of course there is, right? Because there's nowhere where we felt open to what, aka the truth, aka the knowledge, aka things.
You would have had to ride your bike to the library, use the Dewey Decimal System to find the encyclopedia, and hope in the encyclopedia that it was updated after the man was put on the moon to say, yes, there is a man on the moon.
Just
Otherwise, you had no way to refute that claim.
Just my only problem is I brought that book home and my mom was like, fake news, and I was like, damn it, like it didn't matter what I did. I couldn't figure out about the moon landing for nothing. But it's just yesterday we didn't have Uncle Google or
Right.
Auntie Siri. Okay.
Right.
You didn't have collective facts. Is that a good term to use for these things that are being called alternate facts or being called facts or fact check facts? You know what I mean? You have a collective fact where at least 10 people in a room are agreeing across internet lines that these are truths, right? These are some Wikipedia truths kind of thing. And we just didn't have that. We had an encyclopedia. I kind of believed
but
it.
But that only has so many answers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, like, you could Google anything you want. But the encyclopedia, if it wasn't in there, it wasn't in there. Like, you can't go to the encyclopedia and say, hey, what was Marilyn Monroe's most popular movie?
Right.
If it's in there, great. If it's not in there, you don't have the answer.
The answer doesn't exist in the availability. Right. It's just not available to the answers. And in that today, the generations I feel are different. I don't know a better word, Duder, to describe.
So what are the generations? Do you have the time periods? Do you have this information handy?
No.
Okay.
We've got.
I do. I'm gonna give it to you.
Okay, hit me up.
These are the 6 quote unquote living generations.
The 6 generations. All right.
You have the greatest generation, which is 1901 to 1927. You have the silent, so these are the people who went off to war and lived through the Great Depression. And because they lived through the Great Depression and then went off to World War, they get called the greatest generation.
Which one?
Then you have
the greatest generation.
The greatest.
Greatest.
Then you have the silent generation, because the greatest generation kept telling their kids to shut the fuck up.
I was just going to say, you got the greatest generation who raised the silent generation. They were like, we're the best. And the other people were like, we're the best.
Because every time they're like, well, what the fuck did you do? We lived through the Great Depression and went to war. What do you do, bitch? Shut the fuck up. So they're 1928 to 1945, getting told to shut the fuck up.
Damn.
A lot of great artists from that time.
Okay.
Then you have the baby boomers, 46 to 64. This is after World War II. Everybody comes back. You can get a house on one income. You can start a family on one income. So they just start popping out a bunch of kids, hence why they're called the baby boomers. Then you have Gen X, which you and I had some dispute over whether or not it should be this large of a gap. We have 65 to 80 for Gen X, which seems like a long time for a generation. Even when you look at the other ones we just discussed, they're of equal length. But Gen X doesn't quite feel right for that amount of time.
Right.
Then you have millennials. So you're the youngest Gen X, being 1980.
Yeah.
I am the oldest millennial, 81 to 95.
Mm-hmm.
And then you got Gen Z, 96 to 2010. And after 2010, I guess we're calling the alpha generation. But for the purposes of our discussion today, we're going to ignore the alpha generation because at best, those kids are 11 or 12 years old. And I don't have kids, so I don't give a shit about that age group.
Makes sense for you. Those being generations. I'll close before we move over to the game, Duder, on the generations. They're different, right? And the gaps are shrinking. The information is shrinking. The trust is shrinking. I believe I believe a 12-year-old these days because I know a few. But I don't believe that a few 12-year-olds would believe what an older generation would say. I think if a 12-year-old talked to someone in an older generation, they would think they're senile. Like they would be like, "Yo, man, you can't even use my phone. First of all, okay, and." Why should I believe anything that's coming out of your mouth? You're on your way out, kid. We're the future. That's the alpha generation we're talking about.
Right.
And they're all, I hate to defend them, but I mean, like, they're right that people are telling them to stop playing video games when they're like, dude, this is what I'm going to do for a living. Like,
man, if only I was given the opportunity to play video games for a living instead of told it was going to ruin my life, my eyesight, my whatever. could have been a different outcome for old Duder.
I mean, you got a generation telling you. By the way, they should be quiet still. You got a generation telling you, what to do, but they don't have perspective of what is. I mean, and I mean perspective. The best they have is a YouTube channel, Dude and Debo, listen to us and have better perspective. But outside of that, they don't have perspective of what is going on. Now is it that they're paying attention? I mean, you got who's Biden up there at the full level of what we're talking about, right? He's what generation's him? Quiet or great?
I gotta imagine Biden's proud. He might be a boomer, but I think he's silent.
Yeah.
I think he's silent generation.
I think he's silent generation.
I'll look it up right now.
All right.
I'll look it up.
And so, I mean, hopefully you've grown over the years and you have better advice from your generation, right? But that generation, talking to the alpha generation, feels like
Biden is near the end of the silent generation.
The end of the silent okay.
Near the end.
And so, like, how is that generation going to help the 12-year-olds and this younger generation we have to teach them about sex, we have to teach them about STDs, we have to teach them about, but they already know. You see, it's already right there on their pad. They haven't looked it up.
I mean, they go to WebMD and they're like, what am I going to get if I fuck this chick?
Interesting. Well, I'm going to leave. Go ahead.
Quick couple notes on the generations.
Yeah.
Gen X, so again, 65 to 80. Gen X is the least trusting of authority of all the generations.
Is that my generation?
That's you.
It's me? Least trusting of authority?
Least trusting of authority.
That's me. That's me 100%. That's me 100%. They, moon landing, okay? Didn't happen. Yeah. That's what my generation says.
Millennials are the most educated. 81 to 95, they got the most college degrees.
How you feel? How's that holding up, dude?
Well, we're also the most in debt.
We know the most, but
we
ain't got
make
no money.
More money than our parents and have less to show for it.
Well, that's how that stuff goes, brother. Dude, do we have a game on the generations that we can throw together here for these guys?
We have a game on the generations. This game brought to you by the Kanye lyric, old folks talking about back in my day, but homie, this is my day. Class started 2 hours ago. Oh, am I late?
That's a long lyric. All right, give 2 bills.
Got to get it all. This is Guess the Generation by the actor or actress. I'm going to give you you can pick actor or actress. Okay. I will give it to you, and then you'll have the other one as a backup.
Okay.
And then you have to guess which generation they were the most popular actor or actress for.
Okay.
For example, not on the list is Tom Hanks.
Oh.
So if I were to say Tom Hanks, which generation would you guess?
Mine, because I love Tom Hanks.
I would too, but he's not on the list. So we don't know.
God,
but
man.
That's how the game
works.
Oh
my God, Tom! Oh,
how is Tom Hanks not the most popular actor for our generation?
Listen, man, let's say something bad about Tom Hanks. Go ahead.
Bad about Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks. I saw pushed not a TMZ, but a guy like TMZ.
Yeah, like a camera guy.
Because they almost knocked down his wife.
This is your bad?
This is the worst I got. He pushed the dude who was about to knock down his wife.
That's your bad for Tom Hanks? He's a little aggressive.
What do you got?
Not a damn.
He knocked out a tooth with an ice skate on an island.
Worst I got for Tom Hanks is like Castaway could have been better. That's the worst I got for Tom.
Could it have?
Yeah, bitch, you could have used a basketball. I mean, Wilson. I mean, come on, man. But that's it. That's it. That's all I got.
Could have named him Spalding.
Exactly. But anywho, that's it. Tom. Tom's man.
I don't have a lot for Tom. I mean, maybe if we dig up. This is another thing about the generations. Tom Hanks doesn't have tweets we can go back and say, oh, he tweeted some dumb shit when he was in high school.
Like the Queen, Tom knows how to keep his mouth shut. Tom just be like, y'all crazy.
But if Tom Hanks had Twitter when he was 13, do you think he would have been able to keep his mouth shut? If you had Twitter when you were 13, would you have tweeted some dumb shit that would have come back to bite you in the ass today?
Like the Tootsie Roll, bro. The world will never know. And that's just the problem with always comparing the generational gaps from a 13-year-old Tom Hanks and Twitter. Like, you just don't, you know what I mean? You got a 85, I don't know how Tom Hanks is. You got Tom, and he still isn't blowing up on Twitter, killing people, blowing everybody up. You know what I mean? So I don't know. You think Tom's going to be a jerk on Twitter because he's 13? I don't know. Listen.
No, but I think there's potential for people of that generation, if they had access to expose all their mistakes from a young age, then maybe we would not think so highly of Tom Hanks. But this current generation, everything they do gets exposed to the world. And so you got to be perfect from the time you're like 12 years old. You got to be LeBron James. And there's only one LeBron James.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead and bring back Tom Hanks to the show many a times, because I'm it's hard to find something bad about Tom, and I think this should say something about Tom. Don't you talk about Tom, all right?
And I know people are listening like, LeBron James, China, fuck off with all that nonsense.
What,
the dude works.
LeBron?
The dude has a contract with Nike. He doesn't control where they make their shoes. Leave LeBron James' name out your mouth.
I feel like somebody said something about LeBron. Did they say about Tom? Okay, anyways. All right.
Tom Hanks doesn't have a shooter. All right, the game.
I got the game.
Yes.
I got the different generations. The greatest, the sleepiest. I got to pick one, right? I got to pick where they're going to line in.
Greatest generation, okay. Silent generation, baby boomers,
babies,
Gen X,
the X's,
millennial, Gen Z.
I got millennials, Z, X, babies, quiet,
greatest,
and then best. All right, there we go.
Yeah,
all
sure.
Right. Okay. All right. Can't tell me nothing.
So, do you want actor or actress?
I would like a female, please.
All right.
Since we're gonna
actress.
Since we're gonna talk about what they're carrying beneath what is it, X and the Y chromosomes. Female.
Are we gonna talk about that?
No, we're not. But we're separating them either way, so it's fine.
All right. Meryl Streep.
That's female.
Meryl Streep is a woman.
Yes.
She's an actress.
Uh-huh.
She identifies as a woman. Her pronouns are she, her. And what generation is Meryl Streep?
I'm going to go with she better be. Is she the quiet generation? She part of the silent generation?
Man, making Meryl Streep old, bro. She is a baby boomer.
Oh, no. Well, I thought Meryl Streep was up there. My bad. Meryl Streep's still hot, you think?
I mean, Meryl Streep's been, no, I don't think so. But she's been an actress for a long time, so I can't blame you.
Did you ever see Meryl Streep in one movie and was like, okay?
I would have to look through her IMDb page to see. There's nothing that jumps out at me like, yeah, Meryl Streep.
Yeah. She did. She did a full nude scene. Her last movie.
Was it good? Did you look at it like, hey, Meryl Streep still for the silent generation? She's right.
Yeah, I did say that for 100%. I was like, for the silent generation, y'all. I mean, she done did it. Yeah.
But she's a great actress. Everything I've seen her in, I'm like, man, she's killing that.
Yeah, I've never. What was it, Mommy
The Devil
Dearest?
Wears Prada,
yeah.
Mamma Mia.
Yeah.
I probably first saw her in Death Becomes Her. If you got to pick, for me anyway, if you got to pick a movie where I'm like, all right, Meryl Streep can get it, it's probably Death Becomes Her.
Don't look up.
Kramer versus Kramer is when she got big.
Don't Look Up. Did you see this movie?
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio. You see this?
I don't remember Leo being in it, but I definitely saw the movie.
Don't Look Up.
Leo
was the main dude. Leo was the main dude of the scientist. Don't Look Up.
Right, well, sure.
Yeah.
I was watching Jennifer Lawrence.
It was the best movie ever, let me tell you. All right, so there we go.
Leo was the scientist.
See? Leo's the scientist. You miss Leo in that movie. All right.
I'm not a big fan of Leo.
Well, I mean,
Leo got beef.
Oh, you and Leo got beef?
We got beef.
Oh, we're going to talk about some Leo beef later. All right.
All right, Meryl Streep, you got wrong.
Boo.
Actor or actress?
I'm going to stick with the ladies. One more.
Stick with the ladies. All right. We're going to go with Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart.
Well, who was in amazing movies her whole life, Kristen Stewart.
As we know, of course.
Especially the one, my favorite one, where she was
the actress of a generation.
What was your favorite movie, Duder, that she did?
Without looking it up?
Yeah, without looking it up.
Well, if I tell you, then it might give away the generation. Is the problem?
Well, it wasn't Grumpy Old Men, so I don't think it's in the title or anything. So, but okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna jump back to the Quiet generation. Maybe it was too quiet. It was too baby boomers. So it's baby boomers.
Well, Meryl Streep was baby boomers.
Yeah. So
you can't have another actress for baby
right.
boomers.
Oh, I see. Baby's out.
One per generation. This is what their generation has decided.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, all right,
the most popular.
Yep.
According to my Google search.
Can I get?
I didn't have to ride my bike, go to the library, use the Dewey Decimal System,
just Google searched it,
check out an encyclopedia, and hope that it had a list of actors and actresses per generation. I just typed into Google actors of a generation, and this list was like the 5th thing now.
Don't forget about the fines. Okay, those are real.
Yeah.
Can I phone a friend here? Can I get the male in the same category?
Yes.
Can I get the male in the same?
Can.
And then see if I can kind of.
That's why I did it this way.
I figured as much.
The male actor from the same generation, Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson. Can you help me with Robert Pattinson? I'm trying to remember who this guy is. I've heard his name.
I can. Here's the clue.
He is what the generation lifted up.
Yes. Here's the clue I can
give
you.
No time.
Both of these.
And there's no time. All right, sorry.
There's no time.
Leave me alone.
Both of these, Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson, not Tom Hanks, were in the same movie, and that movie is why they are listed as the actor and actress of this generation. So there's a specific movie franchise, if you will. There's a movie franchise that these two are the leads in, and that's why they're considered.
Okay, so I'm going to say it's not my generation. I'm going to go up to the Quiet generation.
So the Quiet generation is older than Meryl Streep. That's where you're going? I'm only asking because you said up.
Right, it's older than Meryl Streep. I'm going up.
Okay,
because
so we're going down. Down is younger, up is older. I just want to understand which direction you're moving.
Yeah, that was the direction. Because on my list, this is the way it's written, so it's up.
That's fine. I went left to right. You went up to left. It's all good. The silent generation is incorrect.
Okay.
And here's where you're gonna be even more perturbed by this.
Don't you tell me.
Millennials.
Okay, that's fine. That's your fault. That's your problem. I don't have.
Right. I looked up. I was like, that's the actor and actress of my generation.
I don't even.
And the movie is Twilight. Right. That was my reaction. I haven't even seen Twilight. Now, again, I'm 41. I'm the oldest millennial. So maybe Gen X is more the movies that appeal to me. Because I didn't see Twilight.
I saw it.
That's what made these.
Did you see Twilight? I have a wife who is of the generation that's fitting. But I'm offended. In a high way, I'm very much offended because for Twilight and is that the not the devil the vampire guy? Is it the vampire guy?
Yeah.
Is that the main vampire guy? And Henry Tucky back there. Is that the main vampire guy? And who's the other guy with him? He's like the wolf, not the wolf. He's a werewolf and the vampire guy. But was it female? So was that the female chick? And the actor from that movie?
Yeah, it was the lead actress and the vampire actor. Robert Pattinson. He has since been. He's the new Batman.
You know what? I think I saw. I have not had anything bad to say about Tom Hanks or millennials, but now I have something that I would just like to pull out at times for the millennials and be like, "What the fuck?" Twilight is not your shit, millennials. Okay. Twilight's not your shit. I mean, I don't know what your shit is, but it's not Twilight.
Should be Gen Z, right? Twilight should be Gen Z.
Twilight should be Baby Boomers X. And
although Twilight came out in 2008.
No, millennials. It should be. It's in the millennials, but my point is, if that's what they're holding up, and they're holding up the Twilights as their like number one, I mean, like, I'm just a little offended by y'all. Y'all need to figure it out. Y'all need to.
Off the top of your head, who would be the actor and actress for millennials? If not Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson.
I'm going to get back to you on that one. I'm gonna get back to you on that one, Duder, because
All right.
there's the there's a there, but it's not Twilight, man. They did something, but I think Jurassic Park was too early for them. There was a movie that was released in their time period that wasn't like the Saw, because they went crazy on horror movies for their generation, and I don't know. It's got to be, you guys got to.
I feel like it should have been Will Smith.
Yeah, but he's gonna get a slap pass. So it's a rough. They're gonna pull him.
The slap was much later.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna pull him. They're gonna take back the Oscars. The problem, and they're gonna.
All right, well, give me Jamie Foxx. Give me Ace Ventura. Give me Jim Carrey.
Jim
How about
Carrey.
Jim
Jim
Carrey
Carrey's too early, because it's more our generation, more an earlier. I feel, but maybe because it's millennials, which is the '80s. I don't know. I mean, but Twilight.
That's why this of all the ones
Twilight,
I did,
out of
that was the
everything.
one where I was like, really.
that's
I was like, I am too old for my generation.
that's gonna hurt me for the rest of the day. That's gonna offend me for the rest of the
All right, game over.
just done. Just mic off. Just out of here. All right. I only got two more to go.
Let's mix it up. I'm going to give you an actor this
Thank
time.
you.
We're
We're definitely switching over to the dudes. I don't even know what happened, but yeah, okay. All right.
Switching over to the dudes. Here we go. Going to the dudes. Real quick before I get to that. So I crossed off both Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson. So millennial generation is out. You can just not guess that anymore.
We're just done with the millennials.
But I did not cross off the male equivalent of Meryl Streep.
Okay.
So you still have the male baby boomer.
Okay, on there.
So the only thing you can't guess is millennials.
Fair enough.
All right. The male actor, Elvis.
Oh, okay. It's weird.
He was a king to most, but didn't mean shit to me.
Actor.
The male actor of a generation, Elvis.
Some shit.
Which is why I think Will Smith or Jamie Foxx should qualify for my generation. Because apparently it's okay to start as a musician and end as the actor of your generation. Now, Jamie Foxx went the other way, but still.
As I'm thinking about my tour through Graceland, I
don't believe you.
I will. I'll put him because you say, he's a baby boomer.
I was worried I was going to throw you off by telling you could still guess baby boomers because that is incorrect.
No, the one above it. The one. He's an older one, older than the baby.
He is. He's a silent generation.
That's what I was looking for. Yeah,
All right, I'll give you that.
All right, I was looking at the sign. But he's because he's my mom's generation for sure. He's up there.
I don't think so.
No,
I think your mom's a boomer.
You're probably right.
46 to 64.
But he's like the silence best. He's
Biden's best. It's like the way that I'm a millennial, but if you ask me about movies, I'm going to talk about Gen X.
You like a
like
generation.
I'm over here giving you Will Smith and Jim Carrey,
yeah,
Tom Hanks, and you're like, nah, bro, that's not millennial.
Maybe
so. I think if you got Elvis from your mom, it's because she was watching.
I got it.
The generation previous.
Little cross generation here, because your parents give you a generation before them.
Right.
That makes sense. Yeah, I was raised in the 50s, but
right.
That makes it makes sense. All right, so then so we get him for the best. That means that Biden is listening to.
Biden was listening to Elvis.
Yeah, okay.
I got driven to elementary school listening to Elvis 8-track tapes.
That's a real story. I believe you.
That's a true story.
I believe you.
In a maroon Hyundai. No, not a Pinto. The next best. Hyundai Excel, Elantra, something. It was a hatchback. It was maroon and had an 8-track player, and we had 3 Elvis 8-track tapes. Do you want to go for the actress of the silent generation? You got Elvis.
Well, it's not Meryl Streep.
It's not Meryl Streep.
Is it? It's not. Is it to Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
It's not Kristen Stewart.
Is it Somewhere Over the Rainbow?
Probably not. I'd have to Google because I don't know exactly who's saying.
With the hair and
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
But you don't think that's the girl you got in front of you?
I don't think so.
That's not her. I mean, it's a black and white era. We're talking about an older era.
So that was Judy Garland, and no. The answer is no. It is not Judy Garland.
Thank you, Google.
I just got back from the library. It was in the encyclopedia.
So you were like 01122110112. What the? Yeah. What hell? Who's calling me? No, sir. You just put it back on the shelf. Just follow the 00. Then start with the L's, and then those are.
Go to the far corner of the library.
Who the fuck is Dewey? All right, Judah, I got nothing, bro. That's Judy Garland is the best I got for that
Elizabeth
era.
Taylor.
Yeah, okay. Her and Mike were pretty tight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. All right. Elizabeth Taylor.
Elizabeth Taylor and Elvis are the two of their generation, the silent generation. So you can cross off the silent generation. We're done with that.
Okay, silence is done.
We're done with Biden's generation.
All right, we're done. We got some M's and
Interestingly enough,
uh-huh.
Obama, W, and Trump, and maybe Clinton were all a younger generation than Biden. They're all boomers.
So every president we had before the president now is younger than the president now.
That's right.
That's correct.
That's right. That's correct. When I was looking up the generations, it always tell you who's the president from those generations. Yeah. Okay, actor or actress. You still have all of the greatest generation, Gen X, Gen Z, and one of the boomers.
All right.
Let's get rid of the boomers right now. Guess the male boomer. To give you a hint, Meryl Streep was the actress.
Right. Can I get the first letter?
No.
Okay.
I'll give it away. I will tell you he was well known for both TV and movies.
Okay. I was going to go with my howdy partner guy, Clint Eastwood, at the minute.
No.
And, okay.
That probably would have been a good guess.
All right. So,
I expected him to be on this list somewhere.
Yeah, okay. So, no. Okay, that's what I got. Clint Eastwood.
And he's not, so don't guess. He's not on the list at all. I was shocked by that.
I'm having a hard time
think along the lines of Tom Hanks. It's not Tom Hanks.
I get shivers, bro. I get shivers.
If you got to pick someone between Clint Eastwood and Tom Hanks, I don't know if that's helping anyone.
I mean, only because I watched Toy Story, Tim Allen. That's because, I'm watching.
That's probably close. That's probably close. Do you want to give one more guess or you want me to give it to you?
I'll take it.
Robin Williams.
Oh, yeah. 100%. I can give him a bell for the 100%.
Baby boomer. Baby boomer actor.
Robin, I'm sure someone has something bad to say about him. He lived a flamboyant life, which means you're going to make controversy. But I don't got anything bad to say about my man. I really don't. I enjoyed his performances, and it's really, Robin Williams.
Great entertainer, rough landing, ended poorly.
Yeah, ended poorly.
But great entertainer in his time.
Yeah.
All right, you got 3 generations left. You got all of them. The greatest, your generation, Gen X, and Gen Z, who I'm quite certain you're not going to get at all.
Okay. Well, if I couldn't get Twilight, that was close enough to me. I don't know how.
Right.
Okay, so where are we at? Let's go with a male millennial.
No, millennials are gone.
No, millennials are out.
I will give you an actor, and you tell me which generation.
There it is.
Tom Holland.
Do you just like the word Tom? Just be honest.
Tom H. The actor Tom H. You get to pick.
And it's a 50-50, right? It's either X or Z, right? This is like Exhibit.
I mean, you got the greatest generation left. It could be.
You didn't sell it.
You got GX and Z is what you got.
GX
because it's not the greatest generation. That's why it is.
GXZ Exhibit. I'll do G, the greatest.
All right, that's incorrect.
I mean, I'm shooting dartboards in the blind.
It's
here.
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
Tom Holland is the youngest of the actors on the board. Gen Z.
What did he do? What was his movie?
I didn't know who Tom Holland was. I don't know how much this ages me.
Yeah.
I doubt we have terribly younger listeners.
Was he the? How
the fuck do you not know who Tom Holland is?
I know who he was. He the Red Power Ranger? Because I don't. That's about all I could take from that generation. Maybe.
No. Gen Z is not Power Ranger generation.
No?
Gen Z is 96 to 2010.
Yeah, Power Rangers, bro.
No, Power Rangers were on TV,
Yeah.
but they weren't watching Power Rangers
2010?
from birth. From birth, there was Power Rangers was not. Power Rangers was on when we were coming home from school.
Yeah,
that
but
wasn't
like
2010.
but it just didn't pick up. Like it just
it
didn't
was
like
the 90s.
But yeah, but like no one liked it in the 90s though, right? So Power Rangers
did
went
it
ahead.
get retroactively popular?
They got retroactively popular, and so my kids were Power Rangers at one point. Let's put it that way, right? That doesn't make any sense, right? And so, but it completely came back. I think when anime got popular, then slowly we dipped back into Power Rangers. But yeah, no, definitely.
All right. Well, he's not a Power Ranger. He's the new Spider-Man.
Close enough. There you go. You know,
Yeah. He's got like 3 Spider-Man movies and some of the Avengers, and so Tom Holland, Spider-Man.
Well, Tom, you should have done Power Rangers. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, you'd have been certainly more popular.
Definitely.
Do you want to guess the Gen Z actress since we're on Gen Z?
You know I'm going to get it wrong, so no. I'll take.
I do.
I'll take my best of my 50-50. See if I can get it between that and the greats.
Okay. So you got. I'll give you an actress. You got 3 left. GXZ. And God, I feel like they're all pretty obvious now.
I'm glad you do.
Let's go Marilyn Monroe.
Well, I mean, I see Marilyn Monroe in a 50s dress and a 50s thing, but I believe that again she's popularized in the 50s, but she's mostly doing black and white stuff. And if I've only got X and Z and best, I'm gonna go with best. I'm gonna go with the best back there. She did the Tramp.
Is what we're calling
The yeah, the best. There you go. She did the Tramp. Was her movie?
The Tramp.
I think it was Tramp.
Lady in the Tramp.
No, Tramp or the Tramp was just the name of the movie. No,
I don't know.
Marilyn Monroe. That's the one where the dress comes up.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what she does the thing.
I mean, I'm familiar with that.
You didn't see the movie, obviously, but
no.
She basically.
I don't know that I've ever seen. I did see one movie with Marilyn Monroe in it. And I can't remember the name of it. She's on a train, but she's a good actress.
Yeah, she ran the girl next door bit on the Tramp, and then Marilyn. There you go.
Yeah. So Greatest Generation, Marilyn Monroe.
Who's that leave us with as the winner as the last Z or X? Which one was it?
Well, you still got an actress from both left.
Okay, so one's gonna be Z and one's gonna be X.
That's right.
All right.
And so I'm gonna give you Zendaya.
And who's the other one?
If I give you the other one, you're gonna get him.
I don't understand.
You gotta guess Zendaya. You have X and Z.
Obviously the other one I'm gonna get because it's gonna be the only left. So if you give me both, I can at least place them.
You gotta pick them both. You gotta pick them both.
Put them both.
You got Drew Barrymore.
Thank you. I see what you mean.
Zendaya.
I see what you mean. So then, and if I'm X and Z and Drew is obviously with the X, then Zendaya goes with the Z. But
that's right.
I'll take Drew Barrymore for the X.
That's a good fit.
That's a good pick for the X. That's just as much as what was Robin Williams. Was he with the X as well?
He was the boomer.
Okay.
Now you don't have the X actor.
Okay.
And you don't have the Greatest Generation actor.
Okay.
So I'm going to give you again. If I give you both, you're going to figure it out.
Okay, fair enough. Because evidently,
I feel like you're going to figure it out.
Yeah, because
one I give you.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Because one of them you're going to know, and one of them you're not.
You're not. And the one that I don't know is obviously the great, and the one that I do know is obviously the X.
So the X is Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
Would you have got that?
No. I mean, I would if you'd given me him with whoever you're going to give me with, who I'm not going to know.
Him or Rock Hudson.
No, Hudson. He's got a name like Rock Hudson. He's going with the Greatest
Generation. Obviously.
I mean, Hudson. I got a Hudson on our team right now. And Hudson's a great name. It definitely means you're going to be great. I could see the Greatest Generation being a Hudson. So.
It gives you a good starting point.
It sure does.
A good starting point on your greatness. So Robert Downey Jr., you're unsure if he should represent your generation as the best actor?
I guarantee I don't think he should.
Would you put Tom Hanks?
I mean,
When was Tom Hanks born? I want to Google
definitely
this right
put
now.
Tom Hanks. Wouldn't you not put Tom Hanks? I'm just, trying to make sure we're talking about the same Tom Hanks I'm talking about. Tom Hanks now. That's just me. I'm on Tom Hanks. Well,
Tom Hanks fits squarely into the baby boomers. So they picked Robin Williams over Tom Hanks.
they picked Robin Williams over. That's a tough pick. Tough pick. Both of them have brought it. So that's a tough one. That's a tough one. That's tough.
All right, so out of 12, if you take all the actors and actresses, there were 12 total. I'm giving you 6 correct.
I hit a 50%.
50-50.
Better than the Queen did on her taxes, guys.
Right. Split it right down the middle.
There you go. I'll give them half. Well, Duder, that brings us to the room, no room. I got us here in a lobby of a VA. Lobby of the VA? Yeah, lobby of the VA. Trying to get health care as a, with VA.
I did my 6 months. I should be covered.
Exactly. And so they just passed something up there on the hill with the old, not the old, I feel bad now. He's a comedian who did The Daily Show. Tom Stewart, is it?
John
Stewart. Jon Stewart was out there promoting for some VA health, trying to get our veterans. That's after that you started seeing all the commercials about if you drink water and you're at this.
Yeah, from the Lejeune something. Camp Lejeune.
Yeah. So then you started seeing that. And so little at a time.
So there was a movie, like not a mockumentary, but like a documentary that maybe is alternate facts.
Okay.
Called, like, I don't know how to categorize it. I think it's.
What do you call a documentary with ultimate facts? A movie.
Well, I think it's a documentary Yeah, it's a movie.
It's a movie.
But it's a movie presented as a documentary.
We call it based on true events. Okay.
Yeah, like what would you call Blair Witch?
Good luck. But not based on true events. I don't know if they.
Right. But they portray it like it is, right?
Oh, right. Okay, like a mockumentary in the idea. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
So I saw this movie. I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, called The Institute, and the name of the institute in the movie is the Jejune Institute, and it's about mind warp and all this mind control type stuff.
Yeah.
But then when I started seeing these commercials for Camp Lejeune, because I had seen the movie so long ago that I didn't quite remember the name. And this is close. And I was like, oh shit, that was real.
That was real.
No, it was a movie. It was a movie. It wasn't real. It had nothing to do with water. But let me tell you, the first like 4 times I saw the commercials, I was like, oh my God.
That happened to me once. I'm embarrassed to say which one it was, and I don't even watch the channel anymore because of it. But Discovery Channel, up until this point in my life, was spitting facts. Okay, like he was like,
I got a good one for the Discovery Channel.
They were like, this is the lion. I was like, I believe that. They were like, this is the lion of the
like
dead.
A lion.
You know what I mean? Like Discovery Channel was just spitting.
I think we both got on the same one.
Okay, maybe
I'll tell you mine.
I'm sure. You want to tell me yours first? Because I'll tell you mine. But
I'll tell you mine.
All right.
I'll show you mine if you show me.
There you go. So I'm watching Discovery Channel, and I'm into it. And sure enough, it's Shark Week. You know what I mean? So I'm watching Shark Week, and I'm into Shark Week, and we're talking about sharks. So I'm about it. All of a sudden, the movie starts off with cell phone footage. Cell phone footage. We on the same track? We talking about the same thing here?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so
on the beach.
No, it was on a boat. It was cell phone footage on a boat.
Oh, all right. Then maybe we're on different ones.
Cell phone footage on a boat, and a series of events happens, and then someone is missing, and it was just cell phone footage put together. And then all of a sudden, they start bringing in the experts, and they start bringing in the people, and they dive deep into Megalodon.
Oh, no, we're not talking about the same.
They dive deep into Megalodon. I think I know which one you're talking about now, that we're not talking about the same one. And they dive so deep into Megalodon that I'm hooked. I'm on board until like the last scene where you recognize that it was a joke. And I was like, yo, man, I did not appreciate 1 minute of that because they had me hook, line, and sinker. that they were showing me some footage from the video, because up until this point, they had showed me lions, tigers, and bears, and never faltered or never tried to bring in a joke or never tried to bring in a mock of what they were doing, and then it was the mockumentary. But I'm going to let you tell you, I'm pretty sure I know which one yours is, where they
Mine
got
was the
you.
mermaid.
Yours is the mermaid. Yeah, I figured as much. And the mermaid
Mine
one
was the mermaid. I'm sitting at home one day, I think I was probably watching football most of the day.
Sure.
Football was over. I started flipping through the channels, and I caught it maybe 10 minutes in. It was early. It had just started. It was like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. Presented as a documentary. And I watched the whole thing. And man, when they get to the reveal of the mermaid at the end, I'm like, oh my God, for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, wait a minute. That can't be real, right?
Yeah.
I would have heard about it if it was real. I would have heard about it before the Discovery Channel presented a documentary. I mean, it would have been on the news. And then I started thinking, Googling, and then I rewatch it. Now I rewatch it with a more critical eye because they just run it back to back.
They got you twice. I just want to let you know, they got you twice. They made you rewatch.
I rewatched it, the whole thing, like 4 hours of Mermaid special before I was even sure.
You're a grown man. You're a grown man. You're a grown man going like, I believe in mermaids.
I was like, this whole time, mermaids have been real.
King Triton, Flounder, everybody's real.
Dude, I was like, man, wow. Look, I used to go to the ocean all the time growing up. How come I never saw them?
Dude, what really bothers me about mermaids and the Loch Ness Monster is that when we were kids, two things were 100% facts. Okay, I'm gonna just spit some facts from the 80s, y'all. It was a fact in 1980 that giant squids were fake. It was a complete fictitious thing.
Right.
It was a fact in the 80s.
Well, I don't know. When did Jules Verne write his book about
2000? That's way early. That's long time ago.
I feel like he put the giant squid. That was the first mockumentary. He was like, wait a minute, are giant squids?
I mean, but like a mockumentary or just like a fable. Like you can just say someone was just spitting fables. He wasn't trying to be mockumentary when he wrote that,
No.
And Discovery was, shame on you. But
homie War of the Worlds wasn't trying to be mockumentary. He thought it was just a story, and people heard it on the radio.
I call bullshit. Like he knew. Like, come on, bro. Like you don't get on the bullhorn and yell fire and be like, just kidding. No, you don't. You
just
were on
to see if you believe me.
Yeah, you were on the radio, bro, doing the broadcast. He wanted to see it happen. So that's him. But when we were kids, Loch Ness Monster wasn't a thing. It was definitely a mysterious thing. Still on the mysterious list right now. Bigfoot was on the mysterious list. And on the same list, it was a trifecta. Giant squids were on that one too. 2022, giant squids are real. Sorry.
Yeah.
I had to break the news to anybody who didn't know. Giant squids are real. Okay. And
how giant are the real squids?
Big. I mean, the problem is getting a squid out of water. That's the problem, is because they're squids. But if we look at the marks that they're making on sperm whales, then we can recognize their size. Because look at the size of a sperm whale. Huge. Like huge. Biggest animal on Earth. And so you got the sperm whale. Blue whale, excuse me, is, yeah. Sperm whale second or third. It's in there. But you get this sperm whale, you see the marks on his face from a giant squid. Like the giant squid's got a chance? You know what I mean? Like against this guy? But anywho, very large. Even in today's day and age, the word UFO is not thrown with so much sarcasm anymore. It's more like, did you see it? When I was a kid, UFO.
You had a UFO experience.
I did have a UFO, several UFO experiences. I had a recent one, which is just mind blowing. But I've had three separate instances where can't explain it. How's that? I mean, it's there, can't explain it.
I had one that freaked me out, and then it was explained to me. And I don't know how I feel about the explanation, but I was like, all right. I was at the beach as a kid. The Grunion were running, and then there was a green flash, like the sun went down, and then it was like the sky was green for a minute, and then dark. I was like, what the hell was that green flash? Like, I'd never seen that before in my life.
The green flash is real.
Right.
Yeah, but it is.
But I didn't know. I was
It
8,
is
10
it,
years old.
it is explainable.
Right.
Right.
And people explained it to me.
Yeah.
But to my 8, 10-year-old brain, when I
That's
first saw it,
yeah, for sure.
what the hell? I'd never seen a green
Yeah.
flash, a green sky.
Mm-hmm. That can
And
freak
then
you out.
people were like, no, it's a green flash, it's the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it though?
I've been, in 2017, I started diving deep into the UFO community, and I have found.
So give me a short, give me a teaser, and then let's dive into your UFO knowledge next episode.
I'll tease you with this. Since 1980, since I've been trying to check out this phenomenon, and I've watched a lot of research on it. It's been interesting how the story has yet changed, yet remained the same. That's what's so interesting to me. It is a world of you have to believe. It's not a world that you're gonna get pure fact. You just have to. It's going to be a world of a lot of belief, and you have to draw some lines. You really have to. This guy said this, and this guy said this, and this guy said this. Does any of that meet in the middle? Does any of what all these people meet in the middle? But I will say this, just to dive real deep into the rabbit hole. I mean, head first. The people who are on the queue, right? We know.
Oh yeah.
They are living the idea of what is it? Aliens in government,
lizard people,
alien in government, lizard people, and then like they have what is it? Pizza places with like sex dungeons.
There's one pizza place with a sex dungeon in DC, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. So it was really fun. I saw a mockumentary, and it was titled as a comedy. So I was like, "Oh, this would be funny." It wasn't funny, but it basically goes through the whole Q story. Like it was an interesting, like this chick and this dude, and there's a pizza place, and we're gonna go find out if they're the people with the shapeshifter. They did the whole Q. What I don't because I haven't you have said that you've read some of the Q. I haven't. I've read zero Q. I don't know any Q. But it was.
I used to be up on my Q game,
okay.
And after January 6th, it became less fun.
Less fun, yeah. That makes just. It was a funny joke, and then it wasn't a funny joke. That makes sense. Did what I described in the Q? Was that pretty similar to the ideas that they were floating around?
I mean, yeah, the Q believe there's lizard people, and they've infiltrated our government, and their goal is the global one world order. And as part of this, they use sex dungeon and a pizza place to get dirt on high powered people by having them have sex with underage people, and then they use that to blackmail them for their global one world order plan, which it'd be a great plot for a movie.
I saw the movie. It sucked. I saw the movie.
Yeah.
It sucked. It was this movie. The movie was horrible, and the plot line is awful. Okay.
The problem is there's a lot of holes you can poke in it. Like if you're
Sure.
lizard people who can infiltrate our government, then you probably have other means of getting what you want instead of using one pizza dungeon in a pizza place that's pretty easily verifiable whether or not it's there.
Yeah. The interesting the part that I'll say, okay, so me being a legitimate person, not believing in the Q, okay, and calling the Q out as just seems a little off. That's the best way I can put for it. I mean, you could take a couple of pieces out of that story, and it kind of starts making sense. You put all the pieces in that story, it's hard to swallow.
It's like the mermaid documentary.
Exactly. Okay. All right. So, but I will say this:
give me a 30-minute documentary, you can make it real believable.
Yeah.
Give me an hour or two.
Start.
Yeah. I'm gonna be able to.
The one thing I'll put to blow things into context is this. Once you believe in UFOs, right? Once you sit down, you look in the mirror, and you go, "I do" or "I don't believe in UFOs." But that's like you got to say that to yourself. Like that's something you gotta hold down, right? Once you say that I believe in UFOs, then you have to run the next question. If there's one, there's two.
Yeah, I mean, there's not just one.
Well, but you got to back up to the first
There
question.
can't.
You got to go to the first question first. First
Right.
question.
But you're right. If you believe in one,
If you believe in one, you probably
then you have to believe that
you
there's
have to believe in two. You can't believe in just one. You have to believe in two.
Right. Correct.
And if I believe in both nature, that's going to be rock, wind, and water. If I believe in biology, that's going to be animal and tree and things that are, being in the biology world. And I believe in the polar effect. Debo's coining that today. There's always a negative. There's always a positive. Just is. It just is. You run those three together. Where does that lead you to believe in the aliens if there's two?
I think where you're going with this is that there's good and bad aliens.
I mean, I would believe that if everything in the world that I have seen so far is true in biology, in nature, and I would believe that everything there's going to be a good, there's going to be a bad. There's going to be something's going to counter the effects of the other. It's just the way that I've seen it go. And I mean, I've wished it a lot of different ways, right? I've wished it sometimes for the bad because I was in a bad mood, sometimes for the good because I was in a good mood. But I've wished it a lot of which ways. But once I accepted one, I accepted two, and then I said, okay, well, there's got to be a good, there's got to be a bad. The lizard people thing doesn't seem as far off anymore. It's just a storyline or a narrative with maybe, I don't know what the word is, things that you just can't believe. That's just reality. Like when I start saying shapeshifters. Thank you. Your mind just automatically takes it off. You're like, no. First of all, you're wrong. Like you discredit me the moment I say that. I say lizard people. You just back out of the room. Just leave the room already. Because you're not even having the same conversations anymore. Then you say sex dungeons, and now you know that we're trying to get someone's attention. Right now, Well,
here's where you're right. Sex dungeons is an attention grab.
Let me grab exactly.
But here's where you lose me with the sex dungeons, and I have been in more sex dungeons than anyone probably that you know. Probably than anyone
probably true.
On the show. And I can tell you that of all the places I've ever been in my life, and I've been a lot.
Okay.
They are the most straightforward, on the up and up, because you have to be.
Well,
you can't have a sex. The first time there's an incident, like people already want to shut down your sex dungeon.
Yeah.
Just on those two words put together, people are like, bad. That's bad. Scary. Don't do it. So you have to be 100% mind your P's and Q's. You cannot be down there having any controversy. And it's not always down there. Usually it's just the room. It's not always like downstairs and
you're just thinking about the pizza joint. I know.
But you have to be. It's very consent forward. Everyone has to know what's going on. Has to agree to it. Has to consent to it. And so there's not like whatever the pizza sex dungeon conspiracy is, where people are being forced to do things, and there's sex slaves and crimes being committed. I've been to many, and none of them are like that. So it's hard for me to believe that it would be like that, let alone we know the pizza place and people have gone there to verify whether or not there's a sex dungeon, and there's not.
And I am not here to prove the Q. I got to be, I am not here to prove the Q right. I just see some of the narratives being either so shocking you can't put them together. You say lizard people and sex dungeon. You're like, and I'm out.
Right.
I'm out.
It's like if in the 90s people were like, actually Bigfoot is alien.
Yeah, you'd be like, and I'm out. I'm just okay. You just
you almost had me, bro.
You almost yeah. And so if my teaser is not, again, I'm not trying to prove the Q. I just wanted to tell you if I have dove head deep into all the conspiracies of UFO and all of the orbs and all of the Tic Tacs and all of the very much
weather
balloons and flying saucers. I want to use their names because we call them by so many different names. Little green men, the Greys. We call them so many different things, but it does take a bit of an open mind to jump into the queue, right? And to believe kind of down their rabbit hole. If you come out of the queue maybe a couple letters before, maybe H, maybe a TL, you might find yourself believing in UFOs, right? You might just back up just a little bit. No, UFOs, right? And then on that subject, there is a lot of Netflix, Amazon Prime, YouTube.
It's great content.
There is a lot.
Great content.
But if you look at the content pre-2017, just start watching your dates on these things, you're going to see the shift in narrative, in tone, and in when people speak. Like, when somebody's talking, is he scared? Is he confident? Is he sure? Is they both like that? Or is he is he like, low man? Is he trying to help you with this information? Yo man, I'm here trying to help you. I'm trying to tell you something so you can learn. 2017 narrative shifts. It shifts very strong, and the reason is in 2004 there was an incident, and in 2017. The incident was broadcast, and it was released to the world. And so a lot of people got a chance to see something that they were believing versus seeing something that they just didn't believe before they were seeing it. And this is the Nimitz problem. Dude, are you up on the Nimitz?
This is not like the mermaid documentary.
This is not the mermaid documentary. This is as recent as 2021. This is a congressional meeting where Congress got involved, and I want to say it right, Navy Intelligence Secretary was called before and sat before Congress on an open session where Congress was allowed to ask, and the Navy intelligence officer showed slides, and they were allowed to have an open conversation about this topic. 100% legitimate. Even everybody who opened up on because I saw the whole thing, it was like an hour, 2 hours long. Everybody's opened up was like, guys, I know why we're here. Okay, all right. Everybody had to break the ice because they were like, I understand what we're talking about, and it sounds, but we need to give it some light. We need to give it some suit and tie, and let's leave the sarcasm out of our voice for a second, and let's have a conversation. And they did. And this happened, I think in 2020, 2021. I think it just happened. And it is all a post-cursor. That's the wrong word, but do you understand it? It all post happenings of this 2017 thing where it was released. Now, are you up on the Nimitz at all?
I'm not up on any of you.
Okay, I'm gonna get you up on the Nimitz. We're gonna let it go, okay? Because it's a good segment. But the Nimitz, and you guys, please go out there. And I even reference you a documentary that really does a good job of going back over the years and showing the information and how it's been shown over the years, right? But the Nimitz is an aircraft carrier, and one day Nimitz is out doing his thing. And they're doing drills. They're going to train, right? And so they're out off the coast of San Diego, not too far from the hometown here. And they're out there, and one of the observers on the radar, and he's high up enough, says, "Captain, we got an issue." What's the issue? He says, "Well, we're about to do drills today, right?" "Yeah." "All right, well, for the past 3 days, we've been tracking objects over here in front of Catalina, and we're going to do our training exercise, sir, and I can't call safety. I can't call this is going to be a safe training mission if we have unknowns flying over Catalina." Cap says, "Fine, send 2 birds, let's go check it out, man. We can't do it? We can't do it, let's go check it out." Sends 2 birds, goes check it out, And therein then lies the Nimitz situation, where from this situation there is video evidence from a F-18 or F-16 fighter, where the F-16 or F-18 fighter is videotaping this object in front of itself. And sometimes you got to believe a pilot. Like no one wants to believe a sailor because they think we drink when we're at sea, you know. But pilots tend to keep it on the okay.
Hopefully you're sober.
You tend to believe pilots, and also pilots. You know, you got someone with a very well trained eye because they're used to seeing large distances. You know, they've got the whole air in front of them. So anywho, you have a fighter pilot, and you have video footage and this pilot's account. Now, after 2017. The footage was shot in 2004, and it was confirmed by the government. And this is where everybody gets crazy here in 2017. You know, if in 2004, I shot the footage and I sent it out, no one believes it. But in 2017, the United States government says, yes, that's ours. Yes, that happened. And yes, we don't know what happened. That's what they confirmed in 2017. And so now, 2020, 2021, 2022, you started seeing this post and pandemic and the DVDs, releases on UFO content. It's just tons and tons and tons. And a lot of them are repeating the same stories. If you've gone through them, a lot of them are telling the same stories. And it's old stories because these stories have been around forever, right? But basically, they're saying, well, if now you believe this Nimitz situation, then what do you think of all this stuff that's happened in the past? You know? And then that's where it's leaving a lot of people who believe in UFOs. They're just leaving them to think, well, we maybe have some truth in there. And so that's I'll sum it up with that. You know, the Nimitz situation, which happened off of California, the overflow of information that's been going on since 17, and then the Q, which released its own version of what it believes is going on in the UFO world. But the interesting fact is, though, Duder, a blind eye is, I don't believe, what we should be looking at this with. I think new eyes is a good way to look at it. And maybe on the next show I'll bring some info and some alternative facts to the site. But that's kind of the sum of it. It's like I said. I'm sure you got the YouTube. You can check up Nimitz YouTube, Nimitz UFO, and you'll see grainy video of a dot. That's all you can. That's all it is, right? But you take the narrative along with it that a fighter pilot is chasing something, and now it seems a little interesting. All
right, to bring it full circle, and I don't have the answer for this, so this is just your opinion.
Yeah.
Which generation is most likely to believe in UFOs?
Not mine. No, because I was from the don't tell me nothing generation.
Right.
It's got to be the millennials. It's got to be
millennials.
Right.
I'm going to mark down that you said millennials. I'm going to look it up. I will see if I can get that answer for you for next episode, where you are hopefully going to give us more information.
I think
on UFOs.
I think we'll do that. I think we'll try to do a little green men conversation. It's always a good one. I was hoping, I saw it flash in there. I thought G was going to come here and bless us with his presence here for a hot second, but it didn't quite kick on in there. So, dude, last minute shout outs?
I got no last minute shout outs, but I do have one last Kanye lyric from Can't Tell Me Nothing. I'm just saying how I feel, man. I ain't one of the Cosbys. I ain't go to Hill, man.
No, there you have it. Kanye, let's get another Kanye to it. Shout out to the Queen and her family. 70 years. Good for you. Nice job. Held down a country.
Shout out Meghan Markle.
All right. Shout out Meghan Markle. Shout out G. Thanks for trying to make it. And shout out to the Dude and Duble listeners. I don't think we ever give them enough credit. Both of them. Thanks for listening along. Thanks for checking out with us. We're gonna bring some.
We got speaking of our listeners, we got a couple text shout outs here.
Did we?
I missed
those.
The live stream.
All right.
We got a negative shout out to the horrible drivers out there. We got a shout out to JMS from Anaheim.
Okay.
And we got a shout out Everest. Those are the only SFW ones I can read.
There you go. Till next time. Otherwise, I have to repeat the Dude and Debo music again. So probably won't. Okay. We're out of here, guys. Peace. Till next time.